Do you know what's funny? Every time I go and do a exploration roam with the Stratios, I stumble upon a lot of ships. But at the same time, every time I equip the Stratios for combat, for PvP, I find a lot of sites. So I thought to myself, okay, if that's the case, I will combine both into one. And I kind of found that to be challenging because this ship doesn't have 6 medium slots. In order to do both PvP and exploration, you would have to have 6 medium slots in order to fit the scanners, the analyzers, and some scramblers. So I thought, okay, let's find a middle point. And today's run actually kind of proved to me that I should focus scramblers more over analyzers, because the ships, for example, that I can stumble upon, they can warp off. The ships have priority. Meanwhile, the scanning sites will stay there. In most cases, they will not despawn that quickly. The chances to see a site despawn is actually very small. The chance to see a ship warp off is much greater. So, in order to properly do this, I would have to do two scanners, basically one blue scanner and one red scanner, and 2 scramblers. Basically, if I find something, I can immediately go towards the target, and if I find a exploration site, I can find a station, change the build, and go do the exploration site. That's pretty much based on my experience that I have gathered after doing this current run today, as you will see what I'm talking about in this video. So the ships will have priority, and that's how I will build the ship. Of course, this will be much easier, and this build is a bit, I don't want to say clumsy to do, but you will have to rely on NPC stations that you find on the run, on the roam. That in order to change the build, you have to dock somewhere, and this is where I would say that the game might need the mobile depot. That's basically a miniature station that you can hold in the cargo bay of your ship. You can deploy it pretty much anywhere, and it will allow you to change the build of your ship in space. This is something that this game needs in order to make this current type of gameplay that I'm going to do today easier, and in order to make it easier, more fun, I guess, more smooth. Because as you will see today, I had occasions where I found a ship, but I didn't have any scramblers installed, so I had to find a station to change the build and then come back. And by the time I come back, the ship will be suspicious of my activity and they will leave. So that's where the mobile depot has to be introduced if you want to keep this build primarily for exploration. But if I had used the build with scramblers and with 2 scanners, then I could have caught more ships today. I definitely had more chances to catch more ships if I had that built right from the very start. But, it was a good experiment. Now, one thing that I noticed, I am unable to fit 3 large rapid missiles on the Stratios anymore. This used to work, by the way. I don't know why I can't do this anymore. I used to be able to fit a micro warp drift and 3 large rapid missiles. This was my build for battle cruisers, battleships, and stuff like that, the more larger ships. But for some reason, I'm unable to fit a micro warp drift anymore. I think the afterburner will still fit, and maybe with the afterburner I can just continue using it with the afterburner. But if you want to use this build, you definitely want to have a micro warp drift, especially if you plan to do exploration and combat, because some of the sites will have boxes that are very far apart. So a micro warp drift is definitely more suitable just to make things faster, and for exploration I definitely recommend the micro warp drift. Now in the cargo hold, as you can see, I can't fit anything right now. Basically I can't fit any scrambler, which is weird because I used to be able to do that. Now I can't. I don't know what happened. But in the cargo hold, I carry 3 different builds. I carry a build that's suitable for large ships, I carry a build for medium ships, and I carry a build for the smaller ships. The low modules, those low slot modules, are mostly the same. Sometimes I do swap the micro warp drift for an afterburner, depending on what ship, depending on the target basically. If it's a large sniping battleship or a battlecruiser, then a afterburner is more suitable for a 0 km orbit. If it's a smaller ship, like a cruiser, frigate, a destroyer, then a micro warbrief will be the more suitable thing to have. And this is basically based on my experience with today's run. Now, the footage will be in chronological order. Basically, the first video here, the first part of the video is going to be basically when I started the roam, and we have a very interesting target actually. A ship that I haven't seen a lot. It's a very rare ship, and in this case, technically, I didn't find the target. The target found me. I basically logged in, was about to start with the run, and I scanned, and I immediately got the Eve shakes kicking in. It's a Allegiance destroyer, one of the new CONCORD ships. That little ship is expensive. That little ship can be very scary, and I want to have a Allegiance male. Obviously, I'm just double checking everything. Yep, everything is ready to go, and well, fingers crossed that I don't mess this up. Bombs will be loaded into the Stratios, and offense drones are, they're here, everything is there. 3 scramblers should be enough to hold the Legions. That's 12 points, 4 scramblers, 4 points per scrambler, okay. Well, I did scout first. I had to be fast because I didn't know how far they are into the mission. And I would be very mad if I missed this ship. It's a very rare ship. The Allegiance is very rare. And you don't get the chance to find one that often. They're rare ships, and there's the Allegiance. Now, based on what I'm seeing here, they are... Now, I've maybe thought to myself, okay, this could potentially be a bait, but the armor tank, based on the effects, does seem to have a Nosferatu, assumed to be a small Nosferatu. Based on the speed, that's a micro warbrief, so I have to do the same thing I do with every small ship approach. Basically, I want to have them close to me, because the Stratios is slow. This is one of the slowest cruisers in the game, and you have to really decloak nearby the enemy ship, or you risk them escaping. This is the thing with the Stratios that makes the ship a bit clumsy to fly. Yeah, based on how much damage they took, I did decloak a little bit too early, I have to admit. I didn't want to mess the ship, so I just decided to yeet. Thought to myself, okay, the orbit will launch them within my range in the next orbit. The inertia will get the ship close to me, and armor and destroyed, as expected. Even the Allegiance is going to quickly crumble against the Stratios bombard implant drones. Now, based on the modules there, didn't seem to be that expensive. I didn't really know what to think. Could go both ways. Could be a very expensive one, could be a very cheap one. Well, cheap is a stretch in this case because it's a Allegiance. They are expensive little ships. So all in all, I think we got ourselves a very good-looking male here. So let me go to the asteroid belt. Again, this is pretty much at the very start of the roam when I wanted basically to start roaming. And 7.5 billion. That's a very expensive little destroyer. Not a bad build though, although it seems to be a bit on the cheaper side. Yeah, the modules are okay, I would say. The idea behind the build is okay. I just don't like the fact that they're not C-types. It's an okay build, it's just the modules are not what I would fit on the store. The meta level is a little bit off. And well, that's the first catch for the day with the Stratios. I have to admit, I was surprised by that little ship. I did not expect a Allegiance. That's the last thing on my mind. Trust me. I expect all ships. A Allegiance served like that? Nope. That's a new one.
Warp drive
That's
active.
a new one for me. Anyway, let's continue now. We have a exploration site. As you can see, I swapped the build. This is pretty much the ordinary occasional build that I fly with when I go and do exploration. I picked Stratios because, again, when I take the Astro, I find a lot of ships out in space. A lot of them. and I don't like to miss ships, you know. When I find a target, I like to attempt to get the target. With the Astro, it's a bit difficult, especially because it only has 3 minimum slots and it's a frigate. And what are you going to do against a, let's say, I don't know, like a Ferox with an Astro? You could technically, you could do that, but I trust myself more with a cruiser. I like to fly cruisers primarily, and I have pretty much all around the best skills for cruisers, so I usually stick to cruisers when it comes to combat. Astor is good for exploration, but for combat and exploration I would definitely pick the Stratios. And honestly, at the moment, I don't really know if there is any other cruiser type ship that is able to do the same thing the Stratios can do. There is the Enforcer, but the Enforcer lacks the bonuses for scanners, lacks bonus for overall exploration for analyzers. So with the Enforcer you can do PvP, you can hunt, but I don't think the Enforcer will be good for exploration. And honestly, since this is also kind of classified as a combat cruiser, heavy combat cruiser or heavy faction cruiser in the store, it is pretty much suitable for this purpose. The only ship that I know of. There's probably other ships that can do the same thing, but the lock delay, the non-existent lock delay on the Stratios is, I would say, one of the most important things about the ship, and in general one of the most important things when you go and hunt. With other ships you have to warp out and then warp in, decloak basically, to land on top of the target and then pray that you tackle them. With the Stratios you just decloak and engage the second you decloak, and that makes the Stratios pretty much ideal for that purpose. The Stratios bombers as well, although bombers can scan, that's the thing. And ideally you want to have 4 medium slots. That's, I would say, the minimum. 4 medium slots is bare minimum. 5 would be perfect, 6 would be what I would need. But 4 is minimum in order to fit the red scanner, the blue scanner and the analyzers, or red scanner, blue scanner and scramblers. Pretty much if you want to hunt exploration ships, having a blue and red scanner and 2 scramblers is more than enough. Or if you want a bit more points, you can just fit a blue scanner and 3 scramblers. That will also work. That's usually what I do. However, I prefer to have a red scanner, just in case I jump in a system and, you know, there is some ship running a storyline or something, so I can see what's happening around me. This is where the directional scanner would also work that I talked about before. A directional scanner would allow you to see what's around you, and you wouldn't have to worry about being unable to see what's around your ship. At the moment, we have to use the red scanner in order to figure out what's around us. You know, and even you can figure out signals and you can figure out the approximate size of the ship, but unless you scan down the ship, you cannot know what exact type of ship it is. You can assume based on the signal how big the ship is, and I can tell you right away, most of the stars have the triangular signature and 2 signals. Astra has a triangular signature with 2 signals. Pacifier has a small signature, 3 signals, also triangular. The medium-sized ships are a bit more normal, like the signature is not triangular, but it's much easier to figure out. It has 2 signals usually. And a single line, single signal, say that 10 times in a row, usually means a big ship, like a industrial ship, battleship, battlecruiser. However, there are some battlecruisers that are also a medium-sized signal. You have to know the source radius of ships in order to approximately decide what potential type it could be. And of course that can also be tampered with rigs. You have rigs that can reduce the source radius of your ship, making it more difficult to scan down. I still wish that we had actual probes, would be more fun, I would say, and overall I feel like if we had probes it would be more difficult, but at the same time would be more rewarding and would be you know, low sec would be a bit more populated perhaps, because it would be much more difficult to scan ships down. You would have to practice probing in order to figure out how that works, which I'm fine with, and honestly I wouldn't have much of a problem with that myself. From EVE Online I have experience with that.
Autopilot engaged.
That's one of the things that I personally don't really like about the whole scan system. I feel like it's way too easy to scan something down. If it were a little bit difficult, a little bit more challenging, I think more players would be okay with it. Now, on my ROM, I encountered this. I don't know what was happening here. There's two ships, one cloaked. There's one interdictor on the gate here. I actually thought to go and bomb this interdictor because there's a sitting still, and I'm very sure that I can just do that with the Stratios. I just don't know what's on the other side of the gate. Could be a trap. I have no idea what's happening here. I've seen maybe 20 pallets of the same corporation around this place, so definitely something going on. I'm not in the north where the war is currently. I think there's something going on in the north. I don't know what exactly. I'm at the other side of the map pretty much, so I don't know what's happening here. But there's this interdictor here, and I'm thinking, should I just go and bomb this interdictor with my drones? But there is this one cloaked ship. I don't know what it is.
Warp drive active.
And there is also, I don't know what's on the other side. So I decided to go. I will return maybe a little bit later to see what I can find.
Undocking.
So on the run, I stumbled upon a Stabber 2. Obviously, thankfully, there's a station, so I was able to refit, change my build, 3 scrummers and a scanner. And well, let's go and see what the Stabber is doing. Now, this is pretty much same corporation as the Cormorant that was on the gate earlier, and same corporation as the cloaky ship that was nearby. Active. So again, I have no idea what's going on. I just stumble upon these ships here. Something is happening. I'm just here to see if I can find something, and I found something. Now, the Stabber is in a large anomaly, and I don't know what they're doing here. It does smell a little bit fishy. But at the same time, I don't see an nanocore. Could be a hidden nanocore, and they're orbiting around, maybe looting. I think they're looting actually. Active. So I warped off to warp closer, and then we will engage. They seem to be close to the beacons, close to 0. So I will warp at 0 from the Stabber 2. If the ship lets me warp, that is. There we go. Okay. And well, we cross our fingers that we don't fall into a trap. Always a possibility. Although I am pretty much in the middle of nowhere, and I was a little bit surprised to actually find something here, to find a ship here. Usually it's very quiet over here, but seems like the population going up, which is very nice. I'm happy about that. Okay, there is the Stabber 2. Let's see the distance. 14, 13, 14. Okay, I think I can just rush the Stabber 2. Yeah, let's just rush the Stabber 2, going for it. Focusing fire, scrambled, drone amplifier engaged. Focusing fire until the drones respawn. Why is this so laggy all of a sudden?
Attack.
The Stabber is usually a shield tank. Okay, the bombs kicked in, and well, boom. Okay, that was nice. Let's get the pod if possible. Let's loot the wreck. Okay, and oh, that's a B-type. I just got a B-type. Okay, we'll have to check the. We'll have to check the loot. That's looked juicy. That looked juicy. Not gonna lie.
Warp drive active.
This is totally random as well. Like, I'm in the middle of nowhere and I found a Stabber 2 that dropped the B-type. Okay, that's I'm actually happy that I see players over here because the region is actually very nice. Oh, that's a good one. 2.5 billion. Okay, long range build. Not exactly a terrible build. That B-type though is a little bit out of place though. Well, that's a good catch. That's a good catch for sure. Good food for the Stratios. And a decent market value. Yeah, but I think I'll use it. You know what? I think I found myself a good little upgrade. A good little micro wardrobe update. 480 million loot. Well, that's pretty nice. Not going to complain about that. So far, quite a successful roam, not gonna lie. And obviously, I said that it would be a free upgrade for the Stratios. Let me go and return the exploration modules. Again, in this video today, in this roam, I basically went with this build. I prioritized sites over ships, which I don't really like that I did that, but you know, was worth to experiment with that. And obviously, let's not forget the stuff that I leave. Always carry everything. Don't forget stuff in a random station. So, I said that I got myself a little micro warp drive upgrade. There's a B-type right there. So, let's fit the B-type. Why not? Okay, there we go. Upgrade completed. I love how I got that for free, basically. This is one of the things I love about the game. You get stuff like that. You can get stuff like that technically for free. I like to jokingly say it's for free because, you know, I did drop from a stabber. Okay, let's continue with the run.
Undocking.
With the roam. And we have another site. I have to say, with this B-type micro warp drive, actually decent speed boost. I was a little bit surprised. With the C-type, my ship was going around 1.2, 1.3 km per second. With the B-type, this thing now goes 1.6, 1.7 km per second, which is decent speed for a Stratios. Again, the Stratios is one of the slowest cruisers. Any little speed boost I can get is going to be good, and that B-type is going to serve its purpose well in this video. We will see how long that module lasts. I have a bunch of B-types now that I got from loot. Unfortunately, I sold very few. Selling the B-types is a bit annoying, and while it's nice to have the module, it can be a pain to sell it. The price on the market fluctuates a lot. It can go. I'm talking about a different module, not the micro warp drive here. For example, the B-type large booster that I still didn't sell. The price ranged from 300 million to 3 billion basically. And when you look at the market, the fluctuations are insane. The difference in the price is just painful to look at. So most of the B-types, A-types and stuff like that I have, I still have, like didn't sell all of them. So I sold some of them in the past, but not all, because selling them again is a pain. And one of the worst things that you can get as someone who splits loot, and someone who, for example, needs to pay the corp mates in ISK for a destroyed ship, the loot splits, is when you get a B-type or an A-type. I know our CEO doesn't like that. I completely understand that, because it's a pain to sell that thing. It's worth a lot, right? But selling it is difficult. High risk, high difficulty, high reward. If you sell it, you earn ISK, but I think if you focus on the smaller things, if you sell a lot of smaller things faster, you can get that ISK much faster. That's just my experience. I could be wrong, of course, but that's from what I have experienced. Okay, well, let's go after the second or third box here. Now, this particular, actually, I've been thinking if I should just avoid this site, because it doesn't really, doesn't reward much, I would say. It does have the trafficking boxes that I actually like. The trafficking boxes are valuable. If you manage to collect a lot of them, you can sell them for a good price. That's why I usually end up doing these sites. I prefer the more rare ones, and I think I'll go in null space next time. I have a little null space region that I like to go to. That's usually extremely quiet. Like, you will not see a ship there for a full month. That's how quiet it is. I like to go there to chill. It's a very relaxing position, very relaxing spot. And I might go there next time, just to see if there's something interesting. Or maybe it's inhabited. I'm actually very happy that I see some of the regions in the game that used to be barren, that nothing was there, no one was there, to see inhabited now. I'm very happy that I see players go there, because there's so many good systems, so many good regions, especially on the deep low sec and that it's just a waste not to you know, set up a base there. I thought to do that myself, but it doesn't really suit my my gameplay. I don't do PvE that often, and usually if I were to go there, I would be pretty much the only player, and you can't get PvP if you're the only player in the whole constellation. So that's why I didn't set up a base, but I do like to go there occasionally with my exploration ships. I will have to check the other end as well. I haven't been there in over a year, actually. I haven't been in the other end for a full year. Last time I was there, I was flying the RB and I was hunting. Used to be traffic there, but I need to double check. I think there's players over there as well on the west side of low-sec of the map.
Warp drive active.
Or the east side of low-sec of the map, and I need to double check what region I'm thinking about. But there is a lot of very deep low-sec that's worth checking out. Again, low-sec can be very profitable if you know where to go. And I found a Pacifir here. Now, Pacifir is a 3 signature ship basically, and I warped here immediately because I could technically launch the bombs and delete the Pacifir in one cycle, which was my idea, by the way. But they seem to have warped off and or cloaked. I took that as a chance to go refit and return and wait and see if they return. In deep low-sec, the exploration ships would be a little bit more difficult to catch. If they are in the system, when you're jumping in, there's a good chance that they will cloak and they will not decloak unless you're out. So if you plan to hunt exploration ships in deep low-sec, you would have to basically find the site first and sit there in the site and just wait for them. That's the best thing that you can do, best chance to catch them. Because if you land, if you go and they are already there, then there's the chance to catch them is slim. In deep low-sec, explorers usually know what they're doing, so catching them is a little bit more tricky and a little bit more difficult. I did catch a bunch of them. I don't know when I did the last run like this. Been a couple months ago. I caught a couple of them because I was already there waiting for them, and you need to be first. You need to land first in order to have a chance to catch the ship. Which I will catch. I know some of the systems. I have ideas where I can do that. Over here I basically plan to, again, primarily I was aiming for sites, secondary ships, but it seems like I should have aimed for ships first and then sites second. That's fine. Nonetheless, still some good targets today. Not going to lie. Some good targets today. So, let me see. Now you can actually check if they leave. You can actually approximate their location if you go to the scanner, and if you click on the ship again, you can see the distance from which they have been scanned from. The Pacific was about 26 kilometers from me, so that's somewhere above, which means that all of these boxes nearby are already scanned. The boxes on top are currently the boxes that haven't been opened yet, and this is basically how you can wait on the proper box if you stumble upon a exploration frigate like this. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Combat 26 kilometers. You can click analysis, click on the ship, and click approach, and this will basically send your ship to the course towards the last position of the ship. And it seems that it's that box, the blood rubble. Either that box or it's that box on top of the site. I would say the box on top of the site might be the box where the Pacific was scanned at. So another little trick that you can use while hunting. It does pretty much scan the ship in a pinpoint location. even if you're quite literally, in this case, in my case, on grid, you can still approach the exact location of the ship. And I waited for a while. The Pacific left. I think they logged out. They did not want to risk it, which is okay. So I go back, I change my build, and we continue with the
Docking
the roam.
request accepted.
This is basic what I imagined the PvP PvE exploration roam would look like, and only if we had those mobile depots it would be so much easier, because at one point you will find a ship and you will have a wrong build for it, and you would have to find a station. You know, that's the most annoying part about the whole idea here, that you're dependent on stations in order to change the build. So maybe the developer that watches the video will decide to add mobile depots. If they add mobile depots, well,
Undocking.
you know who to thank, right? If they add mobile depots in the next couple updates, they listened to me and they saw what I'm doing here. So
Autopilot engaged.
if that means they adding that's gonna be good. I would not complain, and it would make roams like this much more doable. No, I actually thought to do the side here. I thought to just complete, you know, because I don't like to have a
Warp drive
side
active.
incomplete like this, or you know, in order to make the sites spawn faster, always clear the site. But I decided to leave the site to wait, you know. I decided to leave the site for the Pacific to
Autopilot
return.
engaged.
I don't want to notify them that I also scan if they return, and if they see the site gone, then they would think, oh, this guy scanned and, you know, did the site. Now, you might be thinking, why do I have 4 scrubbers? Now, I found a coveter too, and I encountered the situation where I had no station in 4 or 5 jumps around the coveter. There have been no stations. Actually, there was a station. I learned about that station too late, though. I learned about that station way too late.
Warp drive active.
Could have caught it if I went to that exact station, and then if I returned, I would have been able to catch it. But one example of what could happen: you don't have a station to refit, you have a wrong build, you don't have any points, you find a ship. What do? You have to find a station, and that can take some time. In this case, I had to do 3-4 jumps up and down, and that made the coveter pilot suspicious. Rightfully so, was suspicious. I was rolling towards that coveter, and they smelled that. You will see how close it was to, how close I was to actually get the coveter. They're at 0. They didn't see me. They saw me later in a different system, but they did not see me when I warped in with the Stratios right now. I loaded bombs, I cloaked, and
Warp drive active.
my fingers crossed. Now, the moment I think they started to warp the moment I appeared in the system the second time, because, you know, if the same pilot appears 2 times in your station, in your system, yeah, there's something suspicious about that. And there's the coveter. As I am landing, they are warping off. If I went to the other system that had a station, I
Warp drive
learned
active.
that. Right, I will learn that right now when I go there. Then I would probably have time to warp back and catch the coveter and destroy the coveter. But, you know, this is why I'm saying having the other build I showed you today is much better than having the scanner build. If you expect, I mean, I would say again, having ships is a priority. Like, if you see ships, that takes a priority for me at least. I see a ship, that takes priority from now on. After this video, that will be the case. There's a little system. There's the coveter. Yeah, and they have an nanocore as well. I'm still cloaked, so at this moment they didn't see what I was flying. They didn't see anything. They went to the station, and then oh, there is a station that I was looking for. I wasted 5 jumps up and down. Lovely. Which is fine. As I'm doing the roams, I'm mapping everything out, so I will be able to see where and when I can refit in order to catch something. So, what I decided to do, you know, I decided to take a little break. I was orbiting around the gate here, and they returned. My idea was, okay, they didn't see my ship. They might think, okay, this guy is AFK or something, doing a mission. But that's probably not gonna happen, okay? that's probably not gonna happen. It's suspicious that I'm already here, and there is the coveter. No, they are not doing it. They're just sitting in space right now. For now, at least. And they're moving. I thought, okay, if they warp to asteroid, I'm following after. I will warp faster. But as I thought would happen, they are doing a nosedive straight to the gate, as expected. Yeah, if this is what I'm saying. You need to be pretty much instantly ready if you find a ship to go after the ship. If you plan to do PvP and PvE at the same time, and exploration at the same time, because once you're suspicious, you ain't catching anything. Okay, or if you're lucky enough, if they're not paying attention. But I would prefer to have scramblers and not to go eat my analyzers there. I usually leave the analyzers in the station, because if the ship goes down, at least my analyzers are safe. But I pick up the modules later when I finish with the ship. Well, they left. It was pretty funny. No, I also went in the other system and I found a exploration frigate. I basically tracked this frigate from the previous system. I thought that they might be in a site, and I decided to go warp directly on top of the frigate. I
Warp drive
swapped to the
active.
other builds that talked about 2 scanners and scanners. I should have done that from the very start, actually, but you know, next time it will be done properly. And we are landing, but we are on the gate, and obviously I'm not going to aggro on the gate. I thought they might be on a planet or something. Well, I'm going to go pick up my scanners, and then we will
Warp
continue
drive
with the roam. And pretty much we're nearing the end of the video here, so this is pretty much how things have ended in this video here. I could have caught maybe 1 or 2 more ships if I just had the different builds ready from the very start. That was a little mistake on my part. Again, I did not anticipate to find ships at all. Usually where I go, in the regions I usually go to,
Undocking.
it's dead quiet. That's why I wasn't really expecting ships, but it seems the traffic is picking up there. So yeah, next time I will definitely be a bit more prepared for that. And we have a Ferox here that was somewhere in space, but this is also very weird. The Ferox just vanished. I'm not really sure how, and this Ferox did a magic
Warp
trick.
drive active.
It was there and then it wasn't. Pretty funny, but that's pretty much what happened in this case. And yeah, since we're nearing the end of the video, hope you guys enjoyed this little run. Again, combining PvE and PvP. This is one thing I always want to do. And honestly, I enjoy it. I do like it a lot. With this ship, it's actually quite easy to do, although a little bit tricky because of the station thing. I have to map out the stations, which is not a big deal. I'll map out the stations. 1 or 2 runs and I'll have all of them mapped out in my head, so it's not going to be a big deal. And all of that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you would like to support me, feel free to like and subscribe. And with that being said, stay safe, fly safe, and as always, I'll see you next time.